Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. 2 charged for Mocha Fest party at Rick's Cafe in Negril. Disturbing findings on mental health illness in children. And later in sports, former Liverpool midfielder starts process to apply for his Jamaican passport. I'm Anthony Lugg, and here are the details. We begin this afternoon with the news that charges have been laid against the operators of Rick's Cafe in Negril, Westmoreland. This as the fallout continues following the staging of Mocha Fest in the resort town recently. Local Government Minister Desmond Mackenzie made the revelation at this morning's post-cabinet press briefing. The country has been awaiting the outcome of the meeting between the local government minister and the management of Rick's Cafe in Negril, which was one of the Mocha Fest venues. On Tuesday evening, a release from the ministry said the facility had been given permission to reopen. However, there were no indication of sanctions against the operators for breaching established COVID-19 protocols by staging a party at the venue. But at Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing, this announcement from local government minister Desmond Mackenzie.
There has been questions as to whether or not the police have intervened in this matter. And I can say with certainty that charges have been brought following investigations and questions and answer sessions with the management of Rick's Cafe along with their attorneys, and that charges were laid yesterday.
Journalists asked the minister to provide details on the charges, but this is all he would say.
That is a matter for the police to disclose those details, but I am saying with certainty that charges have been laid following a question and answer period.
The popular Negril attraction came into the spotlight after videos leaked from a Mocha Fest party held at the venue in late May. This led to outrage and accusations of double standards on the part of the government for allowing the party to be held despite a ban on entertainment events. Mr. Mackenzie insists the government is acting in the best interest of Jamaicans.
The government will continue to act in a balanced way, and we are at no time exercising or demonstrating any preferred treatment to any sector of the society.
And it appears another business in Negril has violated the Disaster Risk Management Act. Mr. Mackenzie, however, refrained from naming the establishment.
There's another location in Negril. I'm not prepared to name that location, but we are calling them to a meeting shortly to deal with certain issues which we believe are in violation of the disaster protocol.
To disturbing findings now about the prevalence of mental illness cases among children. A report from the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI, shows that Jamaica is far outside international standards in addressing mental health issues in children. As Shamela Pullen reports, it also pointed to a shortage of experts to address this problem.
The latest findings by the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI, show that of Jamaica's 800,000 children, approximately 20% have a mental disorder and 5% or 40,000 children have some serious mental disorders.
Other studies have told us that of adolescents, just over 1,000 adolescents, approximately 15% display depression and anxiety symptoms. Another survey in 2019 assessed broader indicators of emotional and mental well-being, showed that 45% of adolescents had consistently experienced anxiety symptoms ranging from feelings of nervousness, restlessness, worry, and annoyance.
On Tuesday, CAPRA launched the Mind the Gap, the Inadequacy of Mental Health Services for Children report, which also shows 60% of children in state care developed psychosocial problems. Director of Research, Dr. Dinah Thorburn, says 76% of children in the criminal justice system show maladaptive behaviors. CAPRA says only 8% of children's mental health needs are being met. The report also pointed to a major deficit of child mental health professionals. There's one child psychiatrist to every 267,000 children with mental problems.
There are three other general psychiatrists who have received additional training in child and adolescent psychiatry, but who have not received the certifications to be formally classified as child and adolescent psychiatrists. There are approximately 94 practicing psychologists and counselors in Jamaica and 28 psychiatrists overall. Of this number, based on our research, only 12 clinicians provide services predominantly for children. 6 psychiatrists, 12 clinicians for 160,000 children. This is a wide gap.
There are 23 child guidance clinics across the island which see 8,000 children annually. The report says this is substantially lower than the estimated 160,000 children who need psychosocial care.
Further, the child guidance clinics have challenges in responding adequately to demand, with chronic staff deficiencies reducing the possibility of successful outcomes for the children who do access their services. The opening hours are inconvenient, there are long waiting lists, and low client retention. Children outside of the KSA and St. Catherine area have less access to these and other services. There are other services available, which we have factored into our tally, but these do little to put a dent in the shortage of services available.
Director of Child and Adolescent Mental Health at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Judith Leiber, says the resources devoted to addressing mental health issues in children are inadequate, but the ministry has tried other initiatives to help reach out to affected children.
But in recent years, the ministry has really stressed mental health by the initiation of our helpline, Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Helpline, open to all ages, the establishment or initiation of a destigmatization public relations project, which should redound to the good of all our children and adolescents who suffer from these disorders.
Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
The Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, has located the child seen in a recent viral video declaring his future plans to become a gunman. In a news release, the CPFSA stated that the boy's parents visited the Point Hill police station. The release further states that an assessment was subsequently conducted and steps are being taken to offer intervention for both parents and child. The CPFSA says the video speaks to possible exposure to moral harm and danger, which according to the Child Care and Protection Act is a child protection concern. And it's time for a break, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back. Continuing the news. An assurance this afternoon from the St. Anne Police that they now have a handle on crime in the parish. The cops say the proof is in the numbers. O'Shane Masters has that story.
588 murders have been recorded across the island up to Tuesday, June 8. This is 8 fewer murders, or a 1% decline over the corresponding period last year. The St. Andrews South, St. James and St. Catherine South Police Divisions have recorded the largest number of murders since the start of the year, with 79, 76 and 57 murders respectively. But over in the Garden Parish, major crimes in the parish of St. Anne are trending down. This despite a double murder in Spring Peace Pimento Walk on Saturday night. Commanding officer for the parish, Superintendent Dwight Powell, gave an update on the double murder.
The 3 prime suspects who have been named, we have them in custody, and we are doing some workup around them. Of course, the workup will be supported by evidence, and we are hoping that the evidence will lead us into the direction where we'll be able to levy some charges against these persons.
The commanding officer says the parish over the years has recorded a reduction in crime and for 2021, that reduction is 12%.
The reduction is indicating that the policing strategies that is being employed in the parish, they are bearing the kind of fruit that we are seeing. Of course, we have some concern as it relates to maybe one of the category, which is breaking. So breaking seem to be going south, but we have put in some anti-breaking initiative, anti-breaking strategies around this one.
Data from the police show that there were 22 murders and 14 shootings. Additionally, there was one more case of rape for 2021 compared to the corresponding period in 2020, which had 6 cases. Meanwhile, 18 robberies were recorded. Break-ins had the major increase for the period, with 18, bringing the total to 52 so far for 2021. Superintendent Powell says special attention has been and will continue to be placed on the hotspots within the parish.
We are working them with both operational and soft policing element in terms of community intervention. We would have done a number of operational initiatives in these communities. So per se for Steertown, Parrytown, those are 2 of our hotspots in the division. And again, I'm very pleased to indicate that we are seeing some successes in these areas.
Jamaica recorded 14 new COVID-19 related deaths. The island's death toll now stands at 988. 9 of the deaths were from St. James and were previously under investigation. 2 from Kingston and St. Andrew, and 1 each from Manchester and St. Thomas. Meanwhile, 59 new COVID-19 cases were recorded over the last 24 hours. The overall case count is now 49,090. The positivity rate has increased to 8.7%. The number of persons hospitalized with the virus is now 145. 7 are critically ill and 28 moderately ill. There are 20,900 active cases. There's a global movement taking place to encourage citizens to get vaccinated against the coronavirus. Vaccine incentive programs are increasingly becoming popular. Details in this report.
Vaccine hesitancy, a problem facing governments around the world. This despite scientists insisting that immunization against the coronavirus is the safer way to help build protection. But scores of people globally are not convinced, which is why incentives are being used as a means of getting people to get the jab. In Jamaica on Tuesday, Finance Minister Dr. Nadia Clark announced that government was scrapping the salary cap for citizens 60 and over who will receive $10,000 when they get vaccinated.
That created some confusion, Madam Speaker, as if this was a social program and we were tying a social program with vaccination. And so, how could you tie a social? No. That's not what this is. This is not a social program. This is an incentive to be vaccinated. That is what it is. Start and finish. And because it's an incentive to be vaccinated, we're taking away the income qualification.
Cash incentives are also being offered in countries like the United States, where in Ohio, a Vax-A-Million campaign has been launched. It allows people to enter a draw for one of 5 $1 million awards. In Israel, the vaccine incentive program is dubbed Green Vaccine Passes. Persons who get their COVID shot are granted access to gyms, restaurants, and they are also allowed to travel. In Antigua and Barbuda, the government is offering a land raffle as well as food and gas vouchers. Hong Kong also has a real estate raffle. Some countries have also thrown in major tax breaks and free airline tickets. But despite all of this, concern remains over whether the incentives will work. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Motorists traveling along Spanish Town Road have for months been encountering difficulties traversing Spanish Town Road. Our reporter Javon Keys took on the journey a short while ago and filed this report.
It's been a few months since the National Water Commission NWC has been doing pipelaying activities along the Spanish Town Road. We're going to take the journey along the 10-kilometer stretch as motorists have been experiencing challenges traversing the roadway. We made our way from 6 miles to get to the Darling Street Market District, downtown Kingston. Before the roadwork, it would usually take 15 minutes outside of peak hour traffic. The 3 lanes on either side already reduced to 2 based on pipe-laying work already done. It didn't take us long to get to where the work is taking place. We're in the vicinity of Berger Paints and J. Ray and Nephew along Spanish Town Road. Now, after 7 minutes of driving, we encountered what was the first major traffic holdup. Now, on either side, before the road construction, there were 3 lanes of traffic. However, that's been reduced to a single lane going towards the Portia Simpson Miller Square, and on the other side towards Mandela Highway, some of the traffic going towards Portia Simpson Miller Square has been diverted, reducing to 2 lanes the traffic heading towards Mandela Highway. After leaving that spot, the next area of congestion was by the Spanish Town Road Chesterfield Drive intersection. Once through the stoplight, traffic is again reduced to a single lane. It was smooth sailing thereafter, heading toward Lower Spanish Town Road past the Hagley Park flyover until we get here. The poor road conditions aren't just as a result of pipe-laying activities. For months, this area approaching the Waltham Park Road Spanish Town intersection has been in a deplorable condition, and as you can see, motorists are having great difficulty maneuvering the potholes. The main road could easily pass for a riverbed, no escaping the almost endless holes.
And how much people life would go public right here, so make them die? Choa, what is it for? At the sidewalk, we have to ride pan, you know. We can't ride right here.
The road need to fix, man. Can't make no sense. Look how the road's there. The whole of the front end and mash up on them something there. See me I say? I watch it. In the morning, the pan end, because the place weak. The morning now I make it, because the taxi man might feel it.
So after almost 30 minutes of driving along the 10-kilometer stretch of Spanish Town Road, encountering 2 major areas of pipe-laying activities as well as 1 area of deplorable road conditions, we finally made it to Darling Street, downtown Kingston. Javon Keys, TVJ News.
And it's now time for the Business Minute. Here's Cody and Barrett.
The Business Minute.
Welcome back. It's now time for Midday Sports. I'm Simon Preston. Former Liverpool midfielder Kevin Stewart has started the process to apply for a Jamaican passport in order to represent the Reggae Boys ahead of the World Cup qualifiers. More in this report. Year-old defensive midfielder qualifies to play for Jamaica through his parents who were born on the island. Stewart currently plies his trade with Blackpool FC, and he played a pivotal role in their promotion to the Championship from League One. Stewart has received his Jamaican citizenship and is now awaiting his Jamaican passport from the Jamaican High Commission in London. Stewart is expected to add depth to Jamaica's holding midfield options alongside Kevin Lambert and Jashawn Anglin ahead of the World Cup qualifiers. Meanwhile, GFF President Michael Ricketts has requested a meeting with Leyton Orient goalkeeper Lawrence Vigouroux as Jamaica looks to add more players to the goalkeeping pool ahead of the World Cup qualifiers in September. The second round of the fixtures for the 2022 CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers are set, following the completion of round 1 on Tuesday. The 6 teams that made progress to the second round are El Salvador, Canada, Curacao, Panama, Haiti, and St. Kitts and Nevis. Previous World Cup representatives Cuba and Trinidad and Tobago were eliminated after failing to top their group. The second round pairings will see El Salvador facing St. Kitts and Nevis, Haiti battles Canada, while Panama entertains Curacao. The second round home and away series will be played on June 12 and 15. The 3 winners will join Jamaica, USA, Mexico, Costa Rica and Honduras in the final round of the qualifiers in September. Sports Minister Olivia Grange says the mental health of athletes during the COVID-19 pandemic has not been lost on her administration, as they have taken steps to help stakeholders deal with the difficulties of the changing times. During her presentation in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, Grange noted that the ministry has taken steps towards helping athletes and coaches deal with the mental strain brought on by the pandemic, and plans are in place to offer long-term support.
There will be a new program related to mental health for coaches and athletes at the G.C. Foster College of Physical Education and Sport. The ministry will subsidize this program in the sum of $2.2 million.
And finally this afternoon, a West Indian fast bowler Kemar Roach says he's feeling sharp heading into the opening test against South Africa in St. Lucia on Thursday. Roach returns to the Caribbean after playing 4 games with English county side Surrey, where he picked up 22 wickets, including 9 in his last game against Middlesex.
No, just top up. I think I've been bowling a lot, obviously in England and before that Sri Lanka series, so I've been bowling for quite a while now, so the body is obviously prepared and ready to go to play in the test match. So for me, it's just about topping up, getting the mind right, getting the confidence going, and just take it straight to the first day.
The first test bowls off at 9 o'clock Jamaica time. And that is where we pull up stumps for now. For your Midday Sports Report, I'm Simon Preston. Anthony, it is over to you.
All right, thank you, Simon. And that's the Midday News. I'm Anthony Lugg. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.